So what to make of this suspension business? In one corner, you have Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner representing the 32 team owners of the league. On the other end, you have Goodell-Deshaun Watson, the 2017 first-round draft pick of the Houston Texans, and now the embattled quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Oh, what a tangled web all these parties have woven. It all goes back to the end of the 2020 season. Fresh off a 4-12 mark, but shining brightly on the field in spite of the team's achievements, Watson felt disgruntled about being a Texan. Many off-field moves precipitated the abrasion. The trading of DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals, the abrupt firing of head coach general manager Bill O'Brien, and then came the empty promise. Watson claimed that the Texans owner Cal McNair wanted the quarterback to be involved in the new coaching and general manager hirings for the team. However, he was not figured into the plans of hiring the eventual GM, Nick Caserio, and the head coach at the time, David Culley. This slight, combined with the feeling the team needed a culture shift even though Watson signed a 4-year, $160 million contract in September 2019, compelled the quarterback to want no parts of the franchise. He then demanded a trade out of Houston. The team originally balked at the demand. From late January to mid-March of 2021, it was all quiet on the NRG Stadium front when an accusation of sexual misconduct was levied. Then, right around the time the NFL free agency got started, Attorney General Tony Buzbee announced that a civil lawsuit would be filed against Watson. The QB took to Twitter later that day to defy the claim. That was followed by the first suit being filed against the QB, March 17, 2021, which was increased to 3. On March 18th, 4 more civil lawsuits were filed against Watson, bringing the total to 7. This was when the NFL opened up an investigation into the matter, and the Texans organization speaking out about Watson's civil lawsuit fate. On March 19th, 2021, Watson retained famed Houston defense attorney Rusty Hardin for legal counsel, and on his client's behalf said that we should keep an open mind toward things until they responded to the lawsuits. March 22nd, 2021, 7 civil lawsuits against Watson became 14, as 7 more civil suits were filed against the quarterback. 2 more filed a civil suit against Watson the very next day, making the total 16. On March 29th, the total went up to 19, as 3 more civil suits were filed against Watson, with 2 more suits filed the next day, bringing the total to 21. Houston Police Department then said on April 2nd, 2021, that a criminal complaint was filed against Watson, while another woman filed a suit against him, making the number 22. Around that time, Nike pulled their endorsement deal from Watson as public sentiment began to form and shift with each turn. After one woman dropped her suit because she wanted to not reveal her identity, another stepped up in her place to sue Watson. Deshaun reported to training camp in July of 2021, but didn't see the field during preseason. Late August 2021, the Dolphins are reportedly interested in Watson, but the negotiations were touch and go the next 2 months. Commissioner Goodell announced at the end of October 2021 that they had enough evidence to place Watson on the exempt list. However, the toss between the Dolphins and Texans broke down, and once the trade deadline came and went, Watson remained a Texan the rest of the season, while not seeing the field at any point before or after. Settlement talks between Hardin and Buzbee cooled off, leaving the case as a stalemate. Before Christmas, talk of Watson facing criminal charges heated up, setting the stage for when those proceedings would happen, which was in March 2022. In February of 2022, a judge ruled that Watson would have to appear in 9 civil lawsuit depositions. Back with the Texans, GM Caserio sold the bill of goods that the Texans were taking the Deshaun Watson situation day to day. Unfortunately for them, the Dolphins forever shut the door on Deshaun Watson ever being in South Beach. They got a grand jury to hear the case, and Harris County got a chance to witness if anything Watson did was criminal. After Watson involved the Fifth Amendment 9 times, the grand jury returned a verdict of no criminal charges being filed. Once news broke, the free agency period of 2022 went crazy in wanting number 4 for their quarterback of the immediate future. Deshaun wouldn't face criminal charges, and that meant NFL teams had Christmas come in March. The Saints, the Panthers, the Colts, the Falcons, and the Browns, all these teams made it publicly known they wanted Deshaun, and the Texans immediately disqualified the Colts. They wanted to trade Watson outside of the division. He met with the Browns a couple of times, then the Saints a couple of visits. On March 17, 2022, the Browns were told they were out of the running. The same went for the Panthers, considering they didn't guarantee the 3rd and 4th years of Watson's contract. The Falcons licked their chops in anticipation of their guy returning home, when on March 18th, he signed a 5-year, $230 million contract with the Browns. The $230 million was all guaranteed, and the largest contract guarantee given in the history of the NFL to date. The genius of this move, though, is that Watson, possibly in preparation for any type of lengthy suspension in 2022, was set to make only $1 million for the upcoming year. The Browns said they did extensive investigative work in vetting Watson for the job of franchise quarterback, but they, as well as the other Watson suitors, did not contact Busby. What makes this case interesting from the NFL perspective is that Deshaun Watson was the first case which would be tried by an independent arbiter, former U.S. District Court Judge Sue L. Robinson. This was agreed upon by the NFL and the union, as the NFLPA didn't like Goodell being the judge, jury, and executioner regarding punishment. Watson worked out with the team in April and met with the NFL officials in mid-May. Before Memorial Day 2022, Goodell said they were nearing the end of their investigation, and it was announced before then that a ruling would happen before the 2022 NFL season would get started. Before June, there was a 23rd suit filed against Watson, with the 24th that came soon thereafter, as promised by Busby. As the 23rd suit was filed, it was leaked that Watson offered each plaintiff $100,000 and an aggressive NDA, or non-disclosure agreement. It was reported in early June that Watson met with 66 different massage therapists within a 17-month span. Just a little after Juneteenth, or June 19th, Watson settled with 20 of the 24 women. Before the ruling was announced, Watson settled with 3 more women, while the Texans settled with 30 massage therapists. Robinson came back with the ruling of a 6-game suspension, due in large part to the fact these weren't criminal charges and the precedence was already set. A first-time offender under NFL rules would get a maximum of 6 games due to the conduct detrimental to the league clause. The NFL got a chance to see that although they wanted to make an example out of Watson, their own laws made it impossible to an arbiter. The National Football League Players Association said they would support what she ruled, but the NFL said, not on your life. Now, they are going back to the old ways of handing down punishments, with Goodell being the judge, jury, and executioner. Only this time, he's not personally getting his hands dirty. You see, the NFL wanted a year-long ban, but in cases that ran similar, none of them received such a hefty punishment. Goodell appointed former New Jersey Attorney General Peter C. Harvey to look over the case. Who knows what the ruling will be? But the NFL put themselves in a messy situation, one where they can't easily get out of it. As a friend and colleague of mine, Chris Dietz, said months before the ruling, quote, if the punishment is too lenient on Deshaun Watson, the NFL looks sexist. If the punishment is too harsh, they look racist. Close quote. The horrible part about this is, no matter the ruling, no matter how lenient, no matter how stringent, they can be both, because for the NFL, money talks and everything else walks.